What is up, my fellow foodies? Today we're going to be making a recipe from Cambodia called Lok Lak, which is a beef stir fry. So we're going to be using chip steaks and we're going to make a marinade, and we're going to allow our chip steaks to marinate for about an hour, and then we're going to head on over to the stove and we're going to stir fry up this beef. It's going to be really good, so keep watching and I'll show you how to make it. Okay, so to start, I had 1 pound of chip steaks, which are just really, really thin pieces of steak that I cut up into little strips, and then I cut the strips in half. So I have these maybe about 3 or 4 inches or so, and now I'm gonna make the marinade. So I have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. And then I also have 2 tablespoons of water for our marinade. Now I'm a little bit sensitive to the flavor of soy sauce. I don't like anything to be super full of soy sauce flavor. So I also have 2 teaspoons of brown sugar that I'm gonna put in here to kind of sweeten up our marinade a little bit. I also have a lime. So I have 2 halves of a lime, and I'm going to juice this lime right into our marinade. And my hands have some dry skin on them right now, and this is really burning. If anybody has any recommendations for good citrus juicers, let me know. I've juiced my lime. I also peeled and grated about 1 inch of ginger. So I'm gonna put that into our marinade as well. And that's it for the ingredients for the marinade. So I'm gonna whisk them all up together. And then I have a plastic bag here. So I'm gonna open up the plastic bag and kind of break up these chip steaks as I drop them in. And then I'm gonna add the marinade to this bag. And like I said, we're gonna leave it in the fridge for about an hour. So I'm gonna close this up, leave some air in it, and then I'm just kind of gonna jumble this around a little bit to make sure that all of the beef is coated in that marinade. Perfect. And now I'll add it to my fridge. So now that our chip steaks are done marinating, I'm gonna turn on my pan to about a medium heat, and I have 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and I am going to put that here in my pan and allow it to heat up for a second. And then I'm also gonna put 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic in and allow those to cook together. All right, so once my garlic is starting to cook a little bit, I'm gonna take my marinated chip steaks. I wanna roll up my sleeve somehow. I feel like I need to unbutton this. Oh, it's sewed in. I can't unbutton it. Okay, well, we're just gonna pour it then. There we go. Put my chip steaks right into the pan. Now you're gonna have some of that extra marinade, which is good because that's gonna be what we make the sauce out of. And you're just gonna let this cook on the pan until the chip steaks are pretty much almost cooked through. So because they're so thin, once they cook through on the outside, they're pretty much cooked through on the inside. So once they're all brown on the outside, then you know it's time for the next step. All right, so our beef is pretty much almost browned all the way. So what I'm gonna do now is I have 1 tablespoon of water, and I have 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And I'm gonna add the cornstarch into the water, and then I'm just gonna use a fork to kind of whisk it up in there so that it turns kind of cloudy and it all mixes together. And then I'm gonna add this into our beef mixture. Almost immediately when I add this in, the gravy around the beef is gonna start to thicken up and kind of bubble. And we're gonna use this cornstarch to make it really like a thick, awesome sauce that goes on the beef. And I also have another half of a lime. I'm gonna squeeze the lime in. So I'm just gonna let this cook for a little bit longer until the sauce starts to thicken. Okay, so as you can see, our sauce is thickened up to form more of a gravy. And so now the last thing that we have to do is I have 2 to 3 stalks of green onions. You could choose whatever you want. I'm just gonna take my scissors. I washed these already. I'm gonna cut them up right into the beef. And you make them nice and big. And then you're just gonna mix these around in here and let them cook down just a little bit, maybe another 30 seconds, and then you're done. So this dish can be enjoyed by itself. It can be enjoyed over rice, or oftentimes it's served on a bed of lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers, and then they top all of those things with the Lok Lak on top. All of those are options. I think today I'm just gonna enjoy it as is, but you can do any of those other options as well. All right, everybody, our Lok Lak is done, which means that it is time for me to try it. So as you can see, it has a lot of gravy in there, and these green scallions create a little bit of color, but also some really good flavor. So I'm gonna make sure to get some of the scallions on my fork when I have a bite. It's a good mixture of the salty soy sauce with the sweet brown sugar, and I love it just like this, but I can also imagine it with the gravy dripping down on a big pile of rice. And I think that's probably what I'm gonna have for lunch tomorrow. So thanks you guys for stopping by to see how I cook this. If you want to see the recipe, it'll be on www.forandfork.com. And also, my other recipe from Cambodia is on this channel, so don't forget to watch for the stir-fry noodles. All right, thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye, you guys.